Sup everyone, it's Draco Evolve. If you guys don't know this by now, but this is my weekly Manchester United news roundup. Every single news that you may or may not have missed this past week, all in one video for you guys. How convenient is that? This is episode 4. Let's jump straight in. Right, again, this is not in any particular order, but first up we have Daniel James. So Dan James have come up and talked about his ups and downs on this current season. So he has admitted that he has had ups and downs. This is what he exactly had to say. Obviously, I scored against Chelsea and I had a good first month, so my expectations went from down there to a lot higher, said James. You've kind of got to take that to yourself really. What do I expect of myself now? I didn't change any of my goals to think I started better than I thought. I kept the goals the same. I didn't expect higher of myself, but obviously you have that good first month and after that it died down a bit and I didn't score as many. McTominay has also come out and said this about Dan James. It doesn't matter scoring goals, it's the way you're playing. That's more important, and that's what young players don't realise. When you're coming through, you think you're in a rich vein of form and you've got to keep that going and keep those levels. But as you learn and stuff like that, you begin to notice how you keep playing well, you notice it. So that's what Dan James have come out and said in a recent interview at Manchester United. He did say that his first month did go very well, but in recent months I don't think it has been too well, and that's come to a lot of things in terms of the progression he's made. I mean, jumping from the Championship straight into the Premier League is hard enough, but going into a club like Manchester United is even hard, and to top it all off, obviously going into a transitional Manchester United team is way difficult. But in Dan James we trust. He works hard, he's got a great heart, and I think he's got a very good future ahead of him. Next up we have a bit around Dwight Yorke. Remember this striker, one of my favourite strikers, especially during the 1999 treble winning season. But Sir Alex Ferguson has had something else to say about him. This is what Dwight Yorke has come out and said. In the first season I scored 29 goals. In the second year I scored 26, and the gaffer said to me, "You're a failure." I was top scorer again and we won the Premier League, but he said I was a failure. But you look back and I get where he was coming from. This is where you need to push yourself even further by getting more than 29. You look at Messi and Ronaldo and that's the kind of level he's trying to push you to, but I didn't see it then. Finishing as the top scorer with 26 goals was very rewarding for me, but the gaffer wasn't too pleased. Then in my third year I had 14 goals from 22 starts, which is not a bad return, but that wasn't good enough at United. That was a level the manager was demanding of you, and I get it now. That's the piece around Dwight Yorke. I mean, imagine scoring 29 goals in your first season and helping the club win the treble, scoring important goals along the way, and yet by the greatest manager ever to have graced in football certainly have still called you a failure. You know, that's the psychological effect that Sir Alex Ferguson always had. We've known him very long time. He is a great tactician in terms of man management. He was clearly pushing Dwight Yorke to break the 30, 35, 40 goal mark per season, and certainly Dwight Yorke is not a failure in our eyes. Next bit of news, Luke Shaw have been speaking this week and he has mentioned who is the toughest opponent in the training field. So this is what he had to say. I wouldn't say fear is the right word because I enjoy playing against the likes of Rashi and Martial because they're tricky, high quality players, and I like that challenge of facing them. Every time I'm facing Anthony, I like to have a little joke around with him, talk to him a lot and tell him I'm coming for you. Actually, probably the hardest player to get the ball off is Paul. He's so big, strong, he's got quick feet. To be fair, he's got everything to be the best midfielder in the world. You could ask as any player in the team about that. I'd have to pick Paul as the toughest one to train against, as well as because it's so tough to get the ball off him. He knows how to shield it away, and he's also got the best quality to deliver shots and passes too. So this is what Luke Shaw come out and said. He said his toughest opponent is obviously clearly Paul Pogba, although he did mention Rashford and Anthony Martial. But Paul Pogba, with his physicality and his control and his ability to shield the ball, makes him the toughest opponent that Luke Shaw has. Hey, look, Luke Shaw's been having a really tough couple of seasons, in my opinion, overall season that is. Although in the past few months before the season has ended, so far temporarily, of course, he has shown glimpses of what he can do, and maybe the left back position is probably not for him, as I felt, and as many of you guys will agree, that playing in a back three on the left side, Luke Shaw has come very strong. So let me know what you guys think of this particular potential new position for Luke Shaw. Next bit of news is our current captain Maguire, who's come out and said who's the most talented teammate. So he came up in a recent United podcast, and this is exactly what he had to say. I think as a club you should have a captain and rely on him, but you need to spread the onus of the leadership in the group, said Harry. Marcus is there and he battles through every game. Obviously he's had a bad injury, but he's battling hard to get back. He very rarely misses games. He's always wanted to make himself available. I think you can see around the place, on and off the field as well. He's excellent with his charity work, which is great to see. On the pitch, like I said, he's amazed me. He's the most talented player I've ever played with. That's a lot, that is a big praise coming out from Harry Maguire in terms of saying he's the most Marcus Rashford is the most talented player he's ever played with, because Harry Maguire has played with a lot of talented players, especially in the England setup. You got the likes of obviously Sterling there, Harry Kane there, but to heap that much praise on Marcus Rashford just goes to show how much of an important player on and off the field Marcus Rashford is for us. Obviously his on the field displays has been remarkable so far this season, and to be frank, especially during the lockdown, he has done a lot of charity work, which has definitely shown the other side of him, the human side of him, and which shows that he cares. He does a lot of charity work, and it can only make him a better person off the field. Next up is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So he's come out recently and said that Michael Jordan in his prime during the 1990s, when he became an iconic figure by using his unrivaled ability to lead the Bulls to glory, is the person that actually inspires him. Solskjaer admits he sees similarities between the basketball legend and his former United captain Roy Keane. And when asked on the BBC's Football Focus programme, he said, "No, you don't put that on hold," Ole explained to Dan Walker. "It never stops. If you are in a job or not in a job but have been bitten by the football bug, then you always spend time on it. I don't think I've been different to anyone else. You watch TV, you watch series, you've got to switch off from football then, but then you find Netflix and you find The Last Dance about Michael Jordan. It takes me back to when I was a player and the great team of Sir Alex's. Michael Jordan as a leader, you think of Roy Keane straight away. There are so many similarities to my team seeing that team. So it has been an inspiring and a great watch." So there you have it. This is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been watching recently in Netflix shows, which is the show around Michael Jordan, and he likens Michael Jordan to the likes of Roy Keane and obviously Sir Alex. And it's great to see Ole kind of spending his time away from football at times and showing the human side, because at the end of the day, yes, they're on TV all the time, they're football coaches or football managers, you have a bit of opinion around them, but these are also human beings. And you know what, personally I haven't watched the show, but I've been recommended by my cousins and family members obviously to go and watch that show. I'll probably give it a watch, certainly now that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have also mentioned it. Last bit of news in today's show comes from Marcus Rojo. So he's been a very naughty boy. This is an article coming out from the BBC saying that Manchester United will speak to defender Marcus Rojo about his conduct after apparently flouting Argentina's lockdown rules. Images of Rojo, who is on loan at Estudiantes, playing poker and smoking with friends, were posted on social media by the 30-year-old brother Franco. They were subsequently deleted. Argentina's lockdown rules remain in place until at least 10th of May. So this has been a naughty thing coming up from Rojo. Not only he's breaking the lockdown rule, but also as a professional footballer playing still at a high level, he's going around smoking at the same time, which doesn't do very well for his image. You'll be interested to see what sort of news come out around that next week, but certainly I will be definitely bringing you that in my news episode 5 next week, isn't it? Especially around Rojo, I'll be keeping a very close eye on that. But again, guys, these are all the news from the last week that went past. Anything related to Manchester United news that you may or may not have missed, obviously in one place. How convenient is that for you guys? As always, guys, stay safe out there. I'll catch you guys in the next upload, and stay farafari. And there you have it. This is all the weekly news roundup. And, make sure you get in touch with the comments below. I'll be watching it very closely. If you guys don't know it by now, I also stream every Mondays to Thursdays around 4:30 p.m. UK time. Some Football Manager 2020 live streams. Do get involved. We'd love to hear some of your guys' thoughts live on air. And I'll catch you guys in the next upload, and stay farafari.